Looking for a new career mode on FC26? Here are my top 5 Spanish teams for a road to glory. The first team we'll be taking a look at are a club from the 6th largest city in the whole of Spain with a very interesting recent history, which is 2.5-star Malaga CF. The club from Andalusia have had a turbulent past decade where their fall from grace has been quite a surprise, as back in 2010 they were bought by Qatari owners and it seemed like they were about to get on track to become the Manchester City of Spain. With major money being invested into big new signings such as Martin de Michelis and Julio Baptista, the side quickly found themselves playing in the Champions League and in 2013 were seconds away from reaching the Champions League semi-final before their infamous collapse away against the German side Borussia Dortmund, conceding twice in stoppage time, and like their hopes of European glory, their club stability began to crumble. Successive lower position finishes followed in La Liga before their eventual relegation in 2018, and with mountains of debt piling up due to financial mismanagement, the club even fell into the third tier in 2023. With a starting budget of just under €6 million, your job as manager will be to bring a long-term vision to Malaga and forego the past strategy of bringing in big names, but instead developing them through the academy. Hire the best youth scout you can and get looking for the next Isco, Pablo Fornals and many others that have spent time in the youth setup scouting Spain, with other scouts also Gibraltar and the north of Africa due to geographical proximity. If you do have any money left over for transfers, keep the fees and wages low and only look for young talents to develop from the top 2 Spanish leagues. Your main rivals will be Granada, who you'll contest an East Andalusian derby with, and when you get to La Liga, Sevilla and Real Betis will be your big neighbours to topple. It might take you a few years to get the team back to the big time, but if painful memories are lessons to learn from, Malaga have had their fair share of teachable moments in the past 15 years. Now it's time to lay down a new foundation and do things the right way at La Rosaleda and bring in a new core of young talent to get you back to the Champions League and win La Bocaron their first ever major honours. My next side are for anyone who fancies a road to glory but doesn't want to start outside of the top division in Spain but still knows a thing or two about being in the shadows. It's the club from Barcelona, but not the Catalan giants you're thinking of, but their local rivals RCD Espanyol. The Parakeets may never have the global reputation of their big brothers, but are certainly not going away anytime soon. With only a handful of relegations in the club history and having spent 89 non-consecutive years playing in La Liga, this is a side who knows what it takes to survive despite a lack of global marketability. The club start off with one of the smallest budgets in La Liga with only €5.5 million to play with in the first season, so my advice is to focus on that youth academy and attract the best local talent you can from Catalonia, but also try and raise your brand reputation, scouting United States for more marketability and to please your American owners. The same strategy should be applied to transfers. Look for those young talents to develop through the top 2 Spanish leagues and search for some young American internationals who can help raise your profile both on and off the pitch. Your main rivals will of course be FC Barcelona, who you'll contest a fierce local derby with at your real stadium in the game, built only 20 years ago, the RCDE Stadium, and whilst the club have been 4-time winners of the Copa del Rey with their last triumph coming in 2006, the side still wait for their first ever league and European honour. It's time to step out of Barcelona's ginormous shadow and conquer the footballing world in stages, first becoming the biggest team in Catalonia, then Spain, and then all of Europe too. The noisy neighbours are on the move. Now, if you thought Malaga's fall from grace was painful, you haven't heard anything yet. Deportivo La Coru&ntilde are our third team, and those of us out there who are of a certain age will remember this side very well. The 3-star team may be newly promoted to the second division for this season, but in the year 2000 they were on top of Spanish football and winners of La Liga. During this era, the club also won 2 Copa del Reys and played in 5 consecutive Champions League campaigns, where in 2004 also reached the semi-finals before being knocked out by the eventual winners Porto. Now this seems like a club that could do no wrong, right? Wrong. Soon after, the club were relegated to the second division and even found themselves at the centre of a match-fixing scandal, though were proven not guilty of any wrongdoing, and Deportivo continued to struggle for stability and the dark times remained, eventually dropping to the third division and in 2021 finished 1 point away from another relegation that would have seen them drop to the 4th tier of Spanish football for the first time in club history. Thankfully, Depor rallied back, and after 4 seasons in the third tier, were able to gain promotion back to the Segunda Division for this season, and now find themselves top of the table, going for back-to-back promotions, aiming for a return to La Liga football. With a starting budget of €6 million, my recommendation is to get a top-class youth scout and bring in some world-class teenagers to your academy, searching for local talent in the northwest of Spain, but also the north of Portugal due to geographical proximity, and we're looking for new signings, focus on young talent from the second tier of Spain and the Liga Portugal as well. Your main rivals would of course be Ceuta Vigo, who you'll contest a feisty Galician derby with, and after escaping the darkest time in the club's history, it's now time to bring them back to where they once fell from. Bring La Liga and European football back to the Estadio Riazor, and this time keep it there, as you'll aim to recapture those major domestic honours and win Depor their first ever European one. The dark times are over, now let's step into the light. Our fourth team is possibly the most unique of them all in the top 2 Spanish tiers because they're not actually Spanish. It's the club from the tiny landlocked country of Andorra who play under the same name. FC Andorra were famously brought by Barcelona legend Gerard Piqué 7 years ago, and since then have enjoyed not only the commercial benefits but also on the pitch success, now playing in the Segunda Division for only the second time in history after previously doing so just 2 seasons ago. The club play at a new build stadium opened in 2025, and with Piqué having the same grand ambition for Andorra as he had on the pitch with Barcelona, the money continues to be invested into the club with the long-term goal of playing La Liga football, which could be a possibility next season. Despite Gerard's wealth, your budget certainly won't match his. With just over €1 million to spend, you'll need to think wisely about your financial decisions. My recommendation, however, is to play up to the proud Andorran nationalist feel and develop a team full of young players prioritising their growth over bringing in more established players of a senior age. Whilst I don't recommend signing many, if any, players in the first window, if you do have the cash, then one player should be a guaranteed purchase, as he's the only Andorran player in career mode. It's goalkeeper Iker Alvarez, who you can sign for just under €1 million, who I recommend selling your current goalkeeper for in order to get one international player in your first 11 right from the get-go. I then recommend sending your scout out to Andorra and begin searching the country for any talent whatsoever you can find, as you'll be going for a club and country feel, aiming to do a road to glory not just with the club but with the country too, aiming to make Andorra the next footballing powerhouse in world football. With no major rivals, you can create your own with whoever you choose, with my recommendation being Barcelona to give owner Piqué a headache on choosing where his loyalties lie, either in the past with Barcelona or the future with Andorra. And speaking of the future, this is the club to use if you've got that long-term vision and want a long road to glory. No major honours, no time spent in Europe, no time spent in La Liga. It's time to change all of that and take Andorra from being minnows to big fish for club and country. My fifth and final team is my absolute favourite to use this year in Spain's top 2 divisions, and another side that's very unique. It's 2-star AD Ceuta, who just gained promotion to the Segunda Division from the 3rd tier last season. Ceuta are located right on the tip of the North African coast, but still in territory claimed by Spain, making them a completely unique side to use this season with no other Spanish teams based in this region. Essentially, you're all alone on a different continent. With perhaps the smallest budget of just under €1 million, you've got a serious challenge on your hands with one of the weakest teams in the division and little money to spend. It's going to be all about wise investment and long-term planning for the future. Because of this, my recommendation is to sell any players aged 30 or older and go for a full rebuild, hiring the best scouts you can afford and get straight to work on bolstering your academy. Looking for talents from your tiny portion of Spanish territory, but here's the really fun part, also all of Northern Africa. So you'll be searching neighbouring Morocco, but also Algeria, Tunisia and Egypt as well, and don't forget Gibraltar due to geographical proximity. Whilst I don't recommend signings in Season 1, I do recommend mainly prioritising signing players from the North African region as your club continues to grow, so players that represent the countries like Morocco and Algeria on the international stage to show you're not relying on mainland Spain to survive and grow. With no direct rivals in the game, you've got free reign to create your own, but I recommend looking at the Andalusian teams due to proximity, but also clubs from unique places such as Mallorca from the Balearic Islands, Andorra, who we mentioned earlier, or Las Palmas from Gran Canaria. Perhaps the most difficult challenge in Spain, but potentially the one you'll have the most fun with. Give these career mode debutants a go and take them to La Liga and European football for the first time in club history. A Champions League winner based in Northern Africa. Now there is your long-term dream with AD Ceuta. Thank you so much for watching this top 5 Spanish teams for a Road to Glory career mode video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it helped you find your next RTG side this year. If you did enjoy the video, then please do drop a like, and if you are new to the channel, then please click the subscribe button for daily career mode videos. Have a fantastic day, guys. Much love to you all, and I'll see you for another video on my channel very soon.